Guys, what's going on? Welcome to Serial at Midnight. My name is Heath, and I'm joined today by my spinner rack bro, James, the comic book savant, to talk about a topic that is always on our mind: this physical media and digital media, and do the two need each other? What is the relationship between the two? James, what's going on, man?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. It was announced this past week that Ultraviolet, the digital, I have notes here. They call it Ultraviolet, a cloud digital movie locker.
Yes,
They have announced that they're closing their service and will be gone by the summer. I think the date is July 31st, 2019.
that's correct. Yep.
And so I just think this is a good time to bring up. This is not a debate. I just want to make it very clear for the people who are watching this. This is not a debate. James and I are very good friends. We've been friends for years, a decade plus. I guess coming up on well over 13 years. But the conversation is always fresh. There's continuing. We're living in a tumultuous time with physical media, digital media. Things come and things go, and Ultraviolet is one of those things that I'm not surprised that it's gone, but I thought that it would last a little bit longer, especially because when it came out, it was like, I don't know, I feel like it was marketed as the hope of the digital future. It's like, well, this is where it's all going. Do you remember that?
Yeah, they did. They pushed it extremely hard, and I mean, they kind of forced it on us because before
Yeah.
that, when you bought it, I mean, because I was still buying physical media at the time, but I would always have the option for the digital copy. If I saw it as an option when I bought my Blu-ray or DVD, I would always go for that. And I remember it used to be your options were you had a choice when you got it from Windows Media or iTunes. And when Ultraviolet came out, they literally forced it down your throat. Like you didn't have that choice anymore. The studios were all on board, and you had to have Ultraviolet. Like you had this, they made you switch to the format.
Yeah.
So yeah, they really pushed it as that was the new thing that from that moment going forward.
And now here we are, just a few years later. I don't remember. I didn't find out exactly when Ultraviolet launched, but it wasn't that long ago. It wasn't like it was 2008 or something like that. Like it was in the
No,
last four years, I want to say. And you think it
it's
was
been a little
longer
bit
than that?
long. No, it's longer. It's
Okay.
longer because
Well,
so it might
it
be
may be
more like
flashing up on
eight.
the screen right here, and people are. You think it's been around for
Yeah,
8 years? Wow.
it's
Okay.
around because it's. I remember specifically like when the last few Harry Potter movies came out, and I was buying those. They were ultraviolet. I know, like especially like the last two.
Hmm.
I remember the last one specifically because I was so upset because I had all the other ones in the iTunes format, and when the last one came out, I had to you had to redeem it through ultraviolet. So it was
Hmm.
hard. I couldn't just pop it on my Apple TV and watch it. It was a whole. Well, we'll get in that because that's another thing that was the downfall. I felt like in ultraviolet, it was so messy to use. It didn't incorporate it well. It caused a major issue. So it's been around at least since the last Harry Potter film, at least. So how many years has that been? It's been a little while.
Yeah, five or so. Again, I'll
Yeah.
probably put it
So
up on the
so
screen.
yes, yeah, we'll have it down at the screen below. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it was messy to begin with because even I should back up a second. So it's probably clear that you are a digital media advocate, and I am not anti-digital, but I do tend to prefer physical media for who knows why. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why, but why I've chosen to die on this hill, I'm not sure. But I want to talk with you about it and
Hmm.
see if we. I believe that we have more common ground and more overlap than I think the initial. That everybody picks a side and they just dig in on that side, and I believe that there's actually common ground here, and I think that maybe this is the conversation. This ultraviolet thing is the conversation that kind of kicks off trying to find some of that middle ground. On the surface, the I want to say the collapse of ultraviolet, but I don't know that it's a collapse as much as it's just kind of a fade. It doesn't seem like that big of a deal. I think people are kind of running with it, and they're being like, "Well, ultraviolet's gone, and this is just one step closer to all your digital media being gone. And if you don't own it on physical media, it's going to go away." And I don't know that that's accurate. Ultraviolet was always problematic from the get-go. They never had. Again, let me check my notes here. They never had Disney. iTunes did not cooperate with Ultraviolet. Amazon, Google Play, That was none of those were ever on Ultraviolet. So we are losing something here, I guess, but not a lot. And I should also point out that those movies are not lost. They've just been linked because they were a cloud locker, as they call themselves. Those movies are still on like Vudu and other services, so they haven't disappeared. They're just making you go somewhere else to get them.
Right. Because I had, again, because I was forced to have movies on Ultraviolet. I think I might have had eight total or something, 8 to 10 movies. I got the same email, so it was funny when we discussed doing the topic. I was thinking about bringing the topic up to you because I got the email, but I was like, I'm not sure. And when you contacted me, I laughed because I was like, our minds think alike. And I went through the process because most of my movies are through iTunes and well, I think I used Voodoo a little bit. So most of my movies are linked through the Movies Anywhere because they did that whole consortium program now. So everything that was on the different services, you kind of have to go through that, and that's a whole nother topic for another day, the Movies Anywhere thing. But as long as you have it linked to one of those services that link into Voodoo or Movies Anywhere, you'll continue to have those movies. They're already linked, showing up on those services. As long as you don't unlink them in between now, the time they sent the email out, till the 31st of July, you're good. They'll always reside there as long as you don't break that link or whatever. It's how they kind of explained it in the email to me. So I already had it linked. They're already showing up there. As long as I don't sever that link to the service, they'll be there after the service shuts down. Is
Mm.
my understanding how it was
Yeah,
explained, which is
my,
a good thing.
yeah. So as someone who collects primarily digital media, and you do collect, that's something I want you to talk about. Is you don't just redeem codes and you're like, well, I own that now. You collect them, and I wanted you to talk a little bit about your approach to digital and what you think this means, if anything, as a digital fan and collector.
It really, to me, it doesn't mean much because I feel like I never attached to the service because they never really gave me an option to it. I don't like to be forced into stuff, so I avoided it for the longest time. Like I said, it was only a few movies that I really didn't know till like after I bought. Because again, it was always they gave you an option like here, go to this site. If you wanted Windows, you put in this code or go to this site. If you want iTunes and then Voodoo, and then after a while, it was literally the only choice you have is Voodoo, which was kind of weird because you had no
Yeah.
warning. It was literally just forced upon you. I mean, when it comes to me, I had a huge physical, movie collection, comic collection, even video game collection. And for me, because I was living in apartments and I was going through a lot and I was moving around a lot, it was just, I was literally, excuse me, running out of space between a movie collection of six movie DVD collection of seven, 700 movies, comic books of a couple of thousand, about 10,000. Then I had loose comics, hardcovers, omnibuses, and I didn't have the space that you had in the pretty shelves. So it was like really they were closing in on me, kind of, So it
Yeah.
was one of those things where it was just more practical to kind of convert, and that was when the convergence of like digital comics were coming. They were, the digital stores for video games. It was kind of I sold all my media and cleared out. And I just started reacquiring the things I love digitally if I could find them. Now, like you said, that's a kind of a drawback from physical media because sometimes you have to wait for some of those classics to come back around because some things might not have been put Blu-ray digital yet, or you might get single definition, so you rebuy certain things. But it's similar to certain things with physical media. Um, it's a learning process. But at this point, my digital movie collection is about close to 600, if not 600, through iTunes of movies I acquired. Um, my comic collection is in the thousands again, just through digitally. And I went back and just reacquired the things that I loved the most that I would want to go back and read. So I'll have it. For me, I'm still like you. I still have my qualms about digital in the way of I love iTunes because I can download those movies after I purchase them and they're in
Mm-hmm.
my account. I have a huge external hard drive where I download every single movie that I buy. Um, so I constantly do that. So as I buy a movie, it goes to the hard drive, goes to the hard drive.
Yeah.
Digital comics is another touchier subject because you don't have the rights to every single thing that you buy, which is the biggest struggle with digital to physical. When you have a physical copy, you know you own that copy and you have it. It is still roadblocks when it comes to digital media on that side, which is always going to be the biggest drawback um, to it. So that's kind of been my approach. It's just getting the things that I love that I know I'm going to go back to and then I want to enjoy over and over again.
Yeah. And in a lot of ways, your journey represents one that I think a lot of people can relate to. Probably more people, though I have, again, dug in my heels on physical media for whatever reason. I have my reasons for doing it, but I think stubbornness is one of them. And also, if I didn't have this room and this space, I'd be in trouble. And I have to accept that. And I think a lot of people have come to that realization. And I do think you represent the majority who, can I tell the story about you sending me all those DVDs to take to movie
Yes,
stop?
yeah, yeah.
Because you were one of us. You, like I said, you were one of those physical media guys, and you had hundreds of movies. And you, when Blu-ray was new, like 2008, it was around 2008, I think.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
sent me, because I had a movie stop close to me, and you did not.
Right.
And you sent me, like, it was a massive box of dozens and dozens of DVDs, and you were like, these are movies I don't want anymore. Please trade them, because it was like 5 for 1. You trade five DVDs for one Blu-ray, and I was like, well, what movies do you want on Blu-ray? And you were like, I don't care, just Blu-ray. I just tell me what they got, and just I trust you, like whatever. So I think we ended up, I don't even remember what all we ended up with, but you were a physical media collector. And it's just
Hmm.
interesting how as we get older and as our needs change and as space becomes an issue, people start families, you need the baby room or whatever. Like life takes us in these interesting places. And digital does seem not only very convenient, but also um, it's easy. It's just so much easier. But I don't know. We have to balance that with, we need to tell these companies that they, if you're not downloading these movies, you don't own them, and they can take them away at any point in time, and that's not okay. So, like I told a story on a live stream, one of my Serial at Midnight live streams about there was a small, and I watched a lot of exploitation and science, like super low budget movies, and this director had made a movie in the 80s. Robot Ninja is the name of the movie. I couldn't remember the movie at the time of the live stream, but he's doing a restoration for Blu-ray. There was a Kickstarter campaign, and it's like $35 to back the Blu-ray of Robot Ninja. But you can buy the restored digital file for 99 cents on Amazon
Oh
Instant,
wow.
whatever. So I was like, well, that's clearly the thing to do for right now until I can, get my hands on the Blu-ray down the road. I'm not going to pay $35 for it because that's not where I'm at right now. But
Hmm.
I dropped the 99 cents, the dollar on the digital file, and it will not let me download it. So all of the marketing about like you can own the digital file. Well, I don't own anything. I own that
Exactly.
until Amazon decides that I don't own it anymore. Until this guy says, okay, you've had your fun with it. You can watch it, but that's you will watch it on Amazon, and when it's gone from Amazon, it's gone. Um, that is something we have to speak up against, I believe, because as I think we're both on the same side, though we do have slightly separate viewpoints. Digital is becoming more and more a part of our future, and we are losing some of our, like what is the word I'm looking for? It's not necessarily our rights, but we're losing our ownership. We're losing our
Right.
entitlement to our purchases, and that's not okay. Um,
Exactly. And you,
and I think you agree with that.
yeah, and I'm not going to say that I'm against physical media. It just like you said earlier, my circumstances dictated me making a change, and I made said change. And yeah, ownership is a big issue. And the episode of Comic Book Savant that I just released is talking about that. One of the questions I got from a subscriber was about Comixology and can you download comics that you purchase and like back them up. And I knew from being a part of the service for so long you could, and it was started being like a center point and revisiting the service and really breaking it down on how to use it properly because people will talk about it on the surface level, but they don't really dig into it to be like, this is how you use it properly to get the main advantage. Now, your issue is, and I learned this the hard way. Early on, when I started purchasing digital, I'm Amazon Prime. I got all the perks and benefits. I bought a lot of media, digital media through Amazon in the beginning. Yeah, you cannot download the media that you bought through Amazon. So I made it a specific point And that kind of started leading me to iTunes more. I had certain things when I first, and you used to send me the stuff when I first started getting digital codes. I just would do iTunes. I would, at first just was getting um, iPod, and you could watch movies on the little screen. So I was just,
Hmm.
I'll redeem them because I can take them with me. I didn't think about it as what that allowed and did not allow between the two services. I learned the hard way. I have like the first, because this was when Netflix was really first doing streaming, and I was getting on to certain shows like Big Bang Theory and Glee, and I wanted to catch up. I was kind of, those shows had already taken off. They didn't have them on iTunes yet. They only had them on Amazon. So I bought seasons and seasons and seasons worth of stuff that now I can't download and watch on my Apple TV. If I go through the Amazon Prime app, I can see all those old purchases, but it's kind of a hassle. It's like you said, I don't have the right to just pull it up on any device I want. They're very, if you go and read the rules to it, it's very specific on how you can view that material. And if you want to try to download it, it's very convoluted. It's certain, in certain cases with certain material you can, but they make it very hard for you to offload it and have it as your own. That's why I go with iTunes. As long as it's on iTunes, you can download it wherever you want. You have it, as long as your hard drive doesn't give out, you're good.
Do you worry about that? Do you worry about failing hard drives?
In my core, I'm a techie. So no, I constantly buy drives and back up to the backup to the backup to
Nice,
yeah. Yeah,
nice.
I'm about to buy like the next big purchase is, I think I have a 4 terabyte hard drive. I'm going to a 10, because it's
Nice.
like, because too, when I buy movies at such a clip, especially,
Yeah.
I'm like you, I wait for them to go on sale, and then I'll load up. So I'll fill up a hard drive so quick too, because the quality is getting better, and even older movies I bought years ago on iTunes. The biggest thing I love about iTunes is that they will upgrade the quality of your movies as they go. So just like all the
Hmm.
movies I bought single definition or high definition, all get upgraded to 4K for free. Only thing about that, and this is a caveat that people need to know, you can't download 4K movies yet. You can download the high definition version. You have to stream the 4K version, but you
Wow.
can't offload it right now. So it's all these little caveats about the whatever service you use that is makes it cumbersome with digital media, because you need to know the ins and outs to know your ownership rights is really
Hmm.
what we're talking about. Where with
Yeah.
physical, you don't have that issue. And I still miss, I'm gonna tell you though, one of the last videos you did about the Arrow release of Waterworld,
Yeah.
that really made me miss physical media. I was like, I wish I could go back and get the Arrow version of Tango and Cash. There's a corny, buddy movie from my childhood that I loved. That
Yeah.
treatment that I saw they did for Waterworld, I would love like a movie like that, or maybe like the first Predator from my childhood that I loved so much. Like that,
Hmm.
the way they put on I would love to have that on my shelf somewhere. I was like, man, that makes me want to, I don't even like
Yeah.
Waterworld. I'm like, what other movies does Arrow have? That's kind of cool.
They put
Crazy
out
thing is,
fantastic. Yeah. I think that's the direction things are headed with these
craziest thing though,
lavish. Yeah.
craziest thing is, I haven't owned a DVD or Blu-ray player in like a
Oh.
decade. I don't even own one anymore. I
Wow.
literally, I haven't had one in my house. I've been married for 8.5 years, so it's almost been eight, 7,
Yeah.
8 years since I last owned a DVD, Blu-ray player of any sort. If it's not a smart TV device like an Apple
Hmm.
TV or a Roku, yeah, I can't play one if I wanted to. I would have to
Wow.
buy one just to play a DVD or Blu-ray at this point.
And that probably makes certain companies very happy to hear you say that, because that's the way. You know what? There's a future debate for this, or not a debate. This conversation could continue. I think we should put a pin in it for now.
Right.
But
Yeah.
there's so much more to say, because then there's the whole thing about the deregulation of the internet, and how these companies, like, I'm not going to name any companies, but there are these technology companies, these internet provider companies, now have more power than they have ever had to control. Everything is going to data, and they now control all the data, and that is very scary. But we can't
Very.
get into it. That's
Yeah.
a future topic. But
Yeah.
uh, where can people find you? Where can they find Comic Book Savants?
You can find the YouTube channel on youtube.com/comic book savant. I'm on Twitter and Instagram just at comic book savant. And you'll see me here occasionally on these episodes of Spinner Rack Bros on Serial at Midnight.
Yeah, we do. We talk about once a month. We do a collaboration about once a month, either in audio form or video form. I think we've got our video and technical specifications, like I think we got it figured out now.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so guys, I'm interested in what you, the viewer, the collector. I know that my viewing base is largely physical media, but these are interesting conversations to have, and I think that we should have them. Let's keep it civil, keep it courteous and kind, because there's, I do believe that we're all in this together. We are all movie fans, and we are all fans of these things. So, I guess until next time, that's we'll leave it there, and we'll pick it up at a later date. So, guys, thank you very much for watching. Check out Spinner Rack Bros, all the past episodes, and for now, we will catch you later.